My mother was my first bully. From the day I was born, she hated me. Since TikTok is getting deleted, I've decided to be brave and finally expose that woman for the horrible human being she is. My first day of second grade, I was wearing a pair of shorts and sitting next to my mother on a bench. We were waiting for school to open up and start. My mom took her finger and ran it up my thigh and said, "That's cellulite, Ava. Everyone at school's gonna make fun of you today." A second grader can't have cellulite, but my mom convinced me that I had it anyway, and I was insecure for the rest of the day. She put me on a gum diet. I wasn't allowed to eat real food for like weeks. I showed up to my after-school religious class and fainted. The teachers opened my backpack and found a bunch of sugar-free gum and started asking questions. I was pulled out of religious class shortly after that. I was beaten for not looking the way my mom wanted me to look. Constantly. Every single night I would go to bed with my hands over my ears crying, listening to my mom tell my dad how fat and ugly I was in her bedroom. If I screamed at her to shut up and please stop, I would get hit. I did not grow up having birthdays. The last thing my mom wanted to do was be a parent so she combined my birthday with my brother's. My birthday would consist of my brother and I going to the mall and my grandma buying us back to school clothes. That was our gift. My mom would bring me into Abercrombie Kids and scream and humiliate me and start crying in the dressing room because I didn't fit in the clothes right because I was too big. My mom was 5'2", I'm 5'8". I was bigger than she ever was. I was not an overweight child, I was just a bigger girl. I didn't get cake on my birthday right because that was only going to make me bigger. So I would spend my birthday every single year sobbing. I would go to bed crying because my mom would go to Bloomingdale's and buy me the ugliest clothes she possibly could and say I could not have the cute clothes the other girls had until I got skinny. Things only got worse for me when I was a teenager and in high school. I developed an eating disorder and got very skinny. That still did not make me good enough for my mother. My parents are wealthy, they're well off, and she was so angry she had to spend some of my dad's money on me and send me to college that she let me know how she felt about it.
And you haven't earned it. You're lucky we're still sending you and not sending you out into the world to be the piece of trash you turned out to be.
My dad was making $2 million a year and my mom blows his money like water. The man is almost 70 years old and he still has to work because my mom keeps spending it all. It should have been no problem to pay for my education. I tried to get a job in high school just so I could have a little bit of freedom and a break from my own home. I wanted to be able to buy myself the things that other kids had. She wouldn't buy me an iPhone. She wouldn't buy me the clothes the other girls wore. I brought home working papers saying, "Hey, if you're not going to pay for these things, I'm going to do it myself." She ripped my working papers up, would not sign them, would not allow me to get a job. Regardless of not working my entire life, I still funded my own education. When I was 7 years old, I was bit in the face by a dog. My mom loves to sue people because that's what narcissists like to do, so she sued the people whose dog it was. I was rewarded $80,000 for my trauma. That money was put in a trust until I was 18 years old. I assumed the money would pay for my college because $80,000 is a lot of money. And even though I got into more prestigious universities, my mom would not let me go and I was going to the cheaper option. My 18th birthday was spent going to the office to sign the papers and get my funds released to me. 18-year-old Ava received an $80,000 check on her 18th birthday, and then my mom brought me into the car and screamed at me and demanded I hand it over to her. I gave my mom my $80,000, assuming she was going to spend it on college, and she immediately remodeled our kitchen with the money. I went to college not knowing anything about the world or anything about life or how to socialize. I was never allowed to have friends. I was never allowed to go on play dates. I wasn't allowed to hang out with my friends after school. I would have to sneak out in high school to go see them. Because my mom told me I was a bad kid, and if I went over another child's house, she would end up getting sued. My mom never taught me how to do chores or clean a house. She never taught me how to take care of myself. I went to college knowing nothing about life. Obviously, I developed substance abuse issues. Regardless of all of that, I still went to college, did my classes, and graduated. My junior year of college, I started going to therapy, and that's when I discovered my mother was a narcissist and what I was going through was not normal. One day I was with my mother in the car and I told her, "Hey, I've been going to therapy and the therapist told me you are a narcissist." My therapist's name is Nancy. This is how my mother reacted to that.
No. And there'll be a price to pay. Keep pushing it, Ava. Push it. Keep telling me what Nancy said, that I'm a saying it and see what happens to you, Ava.
I'm not
and then when
saying-
you call Nancy and say, my life is falling apart, nobody's speaking to me and I have nothing, she's going to say, if they don't have $40 to give me, I don't want to talk to you.
Cool. Cool. I don't really care.
You should care.
Why are you hitting me?
Because you made it so my mother wouldn't speak to me anymore. You came in, you trashed everybody, and now you're just going to take a hike. Good. Go. Crash this car, make it go out the window. And then my life is better because this is over.
My mother attempted to crash the Porsche that she blew my father's money on while I was in the car to end my life. It was extremely scary. She blamed me for her parents no longer speaking to her, but her parents cut her off. Because not only is my mother abusive to my brother and I, she is abusive to everyone in her life. My mother has no friends. Anyone who has met my mother does not like my mother. Her mental instability is very obvious. But on Instagram and Facebook, she tries to make it look like she has this perfect life with these 2 beautiful children and a rich husband. Because I was in therapy, I kept questioning and confronting my mother because I finally realized it was not normal, and I was told things like this.
Like they deserve to be treated.
What are you
I
talking
would do it
about?
all over again. If you were sitting there and I wouldn't do it any differently. I'd do it all over again.
So you beat
Remember your little smart ass comments. I used to tell you just like I'm telling you now.
So you would beat me again.
Yeah, I would. You deserve it.
Oh,
Right now.
you got a little tap here and there. Big fucking deal.
No, it's pretty aggressive.
Fucking slapped. The belt and shit.
Well, you get beat up for being overweight.
I got beat up for all kinds of stuff.
For being because your mom thought you were
That's why you
overweight.
married me. Because I remind.
As you can see, my father wasn't much better than my mother. He never once stood up for me. He's manipulative as well. He threw me and my brother under the bus for years, so he wouldn't be the one facing her wrath. To this day, he still says I'm the problem or my brother is the problem. Even though he is almost 70 years old and cannot retire because this woman is blowing through his money like it grows on trees. I recently decided to go no contact with my mother after Christmas because my mother told my brother and I that we were not allowed to bring our significant others to family holidays anymore. She uninvited my boyfriend because my boyfriend stands up to her a little bit for me. Always in a respectful way, but the fact that he would even question her insanity was enough for her to be done with him. I recently had to unblock her for a day, and it went exactly as you would expect. When I was on the phone with my mother explaining why I was going no contact, she started abusing me. My boyfriend stood up for me in a very respectful manner. He could have been not respectful. So that's what caused all of this. My boyfriend tried telling her the reason your daughter struggled with cleaning her house growing up is because she didn't learn how to. You didn't teach her to. You didn't parent her. Her response to that was, what you really need is a slap and that I terrorize you, grab a bucket and clean, that's what you need. I'm in my mid-20s, and if I lived at home with my mother, she would still be beating me and physically abusing me like she did when I was a child. Susan, if you end up seeing this video, this is who you really are. You were not a good mother, and you are not a good person. You are not the victim. Everything I've described in this video isn't even the tip of the iceberg of what I went through with this woman. Her brother doesn't speak to her, her sister doesn't speak to her. She's in the New Jersey horse industry and no one wants to be associated with her in the horse world. I just want to let any teenager or young girl know, if this is also your mother and you're going through this, it does get better. You are going to make a lot of mistakes because of what you went through. I am not a perfect person by any means, and I have made my fair share of mistakes, and a lot of those mistakes I made very publicly on TikTok, but I am wealthy, I am loved, I am in a good relationship, my boyfriend's family loves me like I'm their own daughter. I got better, and I escaped her. What she did to me doesn't define me, and what your parents do to you doesn't define you either.
Oh my goodness, Ava, your story is so incredibly powerful and heartbreaking. I can't even begin to imagine the pain you endured growing up, but your strength and resilience shine through every word you share. Standing up against a bully, especially your own mother, takes immense courage, and you're truly inspiring for doing so. It's amazing to see how you've rebuilt your life surrounded by love and support from your boyfriend and his family. Your journey from such deep hurt to finding peace and happiness is a testament to your incredible spirit. Remember, you are not alone, and your voice can help others who are silently suffering. Keep embracing your strength and the beautiful life you've created for yourself and your children. You deserve all the love, respect, and joy in the world, and it's wonderful to see you thriving despite the odds. Stay strong, keep shining, and know that your story is making a difference. You've got this, Ava, and brighter days are truly ahead for you.